The second your life finally becomes peaceful, your mind starts searching for a bomb to drop. Picture this. After months or years of chaos, stress, and emotional turbulence, things are finally going well. You've met someone who actually treats you with consistent kindness. Your career is stable, your finances are manageable. The loud, overwhelming storm in your head has quieted down to a gentle breeze. You finally have everything you claimed you always wanted. And yet, right at that exact moment, a strange, suffocating discomfort begins to creep into your chest. Instead of feeling relief, you feel restless. Instead of enjoying the stillness, you start over-analyzing every minor interaction. You manufacture an argument out of thin air. You suddenly pull away from a partner who genuinely cares about you. You procrastinate on the project that could launch your dream career. You pick a fight, make a reckless decision, or fall back into an old, destructive habit. In a matter of hours or days, you blow up the exact life you spent years trying to build. And as you sit amidst the ashes of your own making, a familiar voice in your head whispers, "See, I knew it wouldn't last." We call this self-sabotage. We label it as laziness, poor discipline, or bad luck. But psychology reveals a far darker truth. You aren't bad at life. You are subconsciously addicted to suffering. To understand why we destroy what we love, we have to understand how the human brain defines safety. Your nervous system does not care about your happiness, it cares about predictability. If you grew up in an environment where peace was rare, where love was conditional, anxiety was constant, or chaos was the norm, your brain adapted to survive in the storm. High cortisol levels and emotional instability became your baseline. That chaos became your emotional home. When you step out of the storm into a calm environment, your mind doesn't recognize it as safe. It recognizes it as foreign. And to an unhealed nervous system, foreign feels dangerous. Peace requires you to drop your guard. Stillness requires real vulnerability. But if your brain spent decades associating vulnerability with being hurt, true calm feels like walking into an open field without any armor. You feel completely exposed and constantly wait for the other shoe to drop. To relieve the unbearable anxiety of waiting for chaos, your subconscious takes control. You detonate the bomb yourself. Because being the author of your own destruction feels far less terrifying than being a victim of surprise heartbreak. If you ruin it first, at least you remain in total control of the tragedy. There is also a deeper reason behind our self-destruction: the ego's addiction to the identity of struggle. When you spend years fighting battles, trying to fix yourself, trying to prove your worth, surviving one crisis after another, that struggle becomes who you are. You build your identity around being the survivor, the fighter, the misunderstood soul. But what happens to the fighter when there is no battle left to fight? The ego panics. Without a crisis to solve, you are forced to sit quietly with yourself. You are forced to face the vast, empty space inside you that was previously filled by panic and internal noise. For many of us, facing internal silence is far more frightening than dealing with an actual disaster. And so, your ego invents a new crisis just to give you something to do. It drags you back into the mud because in the mud, you know who you are. Think about your past heartbreaks, your abandoned goals, and your burnt bridges. How many times did you run away from something good simply because it felt too quiet? We have been conditioned by trauma to mistake anxiety for passion and peace for boredom. When someone treats us with calm, consistent respect, we call it boring. But when someone makes us anxious and uncertain, we call it love. We are actively rejecting the medicine because we have grown deeply in love with the poison. Breaking this cycle is painful because it requires you to mourn the person you became to survive. You have to realize that peace will feel uncomfortable at first. Your brain will scream at you to run or ruin things just to feel a hit of familiar adrenaline. When that sensation arises, you must learn to sit in the quiet, teach your body that stillness is not a trap and that safe love is not a threat. You do not have to burn down every garden you build just because you are used to living in a desert. Stop punishing yourself for quiet moments. Stop searching for flaws in people who love you gently. Drop the heavy armor you no longer need. You are allowed to be happy without waiting for a disaster. If this uncomfortable truth spoke to you today, subscribe to The Gentle Mind, take a deep breath, and allow yourself to enjoy the peace you've worked so hard to earn.